Hi guys, and welcome to the LiveHeats training webinar for surfing competitions. In this demo, I'm going to log in as a director of an organization, create an event, run through the event setup steps, and then log in as a judge and run through live judging. So to get started, we'll go to liveheats.com on your web browser, and we'll go ahead and log in with our director account. If you do not yet have a director account set up with LiveHeats, you'll want to click on this Run Event button and click Start Free Trial there to get your account set up. I'm going to go ahead and log in with my director account. Once we're logged in, we'll land on the director dashboard. The first thing we'll see here is a big button that says Create Event. We'll see here a little message based on how many credits you have in the system. And then at the top, there's a few items that I'll explain. Events is where all of the events you're managing will be. Series is where you'll manage things like your rankings, if you're running a series of competitions, as well as members, if you're using our membership registration feature. Payments is where you'll go to connect your bank account. If you're operating in a country that's supported by our payment gateway Stripe, you'll be able to connect your bank account and accept payments for registrations in your events and your memberships. Finally, the Help Center. The Help Center is where you'll go to find full instructions on how to use LiveHeats, including a whole range of articles and videos. If we go back to the events page, we can click Create Event to create our first event. So in the event name, I'll put in Surf Championship 2021. If it belongs to a series of events, I will leave that checkboxed, and then I can go and set the date of the event. So I'll set this dummy event for Saturday and Sunday. The divisions that you have set up in your organization will appear here. If it's your first time using LiveHeats, you want to create your divisions. So you might set up one like under 14 female. When you're ready, click the Create Event button. What that does is it creates the event in the system, and you'll now land on your event dashboard. The event dashboard will give you a rundown of all of the divisions you have, as well as some other details here around the date and links to important parts of the LiveHeats application. Once we've created the event, the first thing we want to do is get our athletes into our divisions. There's 3 ways you can do this. The first and easiest way is to use our registration feature. If you click on the public event page link, that will open up another tab where you can see what it would look like for your athletes to go ahead and register. In this example, there's no registration fee associated with this event. So as an athlete, I can click on register, sign into my LiveHeats account or create my LiveHeats account, and then complete the form, select the divisions that I'd like to enter for all of the athletes in this account, and then put in my phone number and confirm. If you want to activate paid registration, that's really easy. Go to the Help Center and search for paid registration for more information on accepting payments with your registrations. Back to the event dashboard, and if we reload that page, we'll now see that 2 athletes have registered for this event. The second way to get athletes into a division is to go ahead and do a bulk import. The bulk import feature will allow you to import a CSV file with all of your athletes, and it'll populate every division in your event. This feature is useful if you come from an organization that has an existing registration system and you don't plan on using LiveHeats for registration. Alternatively, the third method for adding athletes into your event is to go into your divisions and add them in manually. To do that, click Add Athlete, type in the name, and then select them from the drop-down box. If they're a new athlete that doesn't exist yet in your database, you can click the Create New Athlete, which will add them into the system and create a profile for that athlete. I'm just going to go ahead and add in 12 athletes into this list so we can go ahead and do the next step, which is building a heat drawer. Now that we have athletes in our divisions, we can go ahead and put in the seed numbers. The seeding is important if you want your heat draw to be completely seeded. Once you're up and running using LiveHeats, the seeding will be automated. So the system will use the rankings to generate the seeds. Using seeding is optional. You do not have to put in the seed numbers if you do not want your draw to be seeded. However, you can put in as few or as many seed numbers as you wish. In a real life competition, we would go ahead and populate all of our divisions and enter the seed numbers. Once we're happy with how our seed list looks, we're ready to set up our division settings. To do that, click Division Settings at the top, and this will give you the predefined settings for this particular division. In this case, I'm running 4-person heat size with 50% progression and 20-minute heats. If we wanted to change this, it's as simple as typing in the heat size we want to use and selecting that. Likewise, with setting progression, you can choose from our options or simply type in a number to select an option that's not displayed. Once you're happy with your division settings, you can now go ahead and do the same for the rest of your divisions in your event. And then once you're happy with all of the athletes, the seeds, the division settings, and we're ready to close the entries and draw the heats, now we can click the Draw Heats button. What that's going to do is take all the names we have in our seed list and it's going to build a heat draw. Sometimes organisers will press that button before they're ready to actually close entries and build the draw. If you do that, simply change the status of the event back to entry open at the top. Once we've drawn the heats, if we go into one of our heat draws, we'll now see that the system has populated our draw with 3 quarterfinals, 2 semifinals, and a final. The heat generator is really useful. It allows you to have complete flexibility over your heat draw. You can drag and drop the names by moving them around. You can customize the heat size on a round basis. So say, for example, we wanted to do 6-person heat size in round 1. We can change the settings in the round and then use the Redraw Heats button to regenerate our bracket with those new settings. We can also do things like advanced progression rules, such as a replicharge, by going in and using our custom progression tools. Remember, once you're making changes to your settings, it's always useful to use the Redraw Heats button to regenerate the bracket with those new settings. You can also rename the rounds as well as customize the progression positions that the system generates. The system will give you progression positions based on an algorithm that we developed. However, if you want to customize that, simply just drag the positions around. Once you're happy with how your heat draw looks, you're now ready to go ahead and set up your schedule. So we would repeat the heat draw process for all of our divisions, and then we would head over to our schedule to set this up. The schedule gives you a running order of the heats in your competition, and you can see there that it gives us a 20-minute heat duration to calculate the time of each heat that will run throughout the day. There's a 1-minute gap automatically placed between each heat. That gives your spectators and athletes a rough guide to how the heat times will flow throughout the day. As you're starting and ending heats on the day, these heat times will automatically update based on where you're at in your schedule. On the schedule page, we might want to change the start time by clicking on the white bar at the top, editing the start time to update our schedule for the whole competition. We also might want to organize our heats by dragging them around into order, which is relevant when you have many divisions. You can use the Shift key to hold down and drag multiple heats at once, or you can just drag heats one by one. If you're using 2 banks in your competition, you can drag your heats that are running on the secondary bank over there, and that will set you up for double banking. If you're running a multiple day competition, what you'll want to do is use the Add Break button to enter a break by choosing the start time that the competition will resume on. So in this case, I'm going to say we're doing a 2-day event. The second day starts at 9 a.m. on the Sunday, and then I simply drag this break into the position where I want it to go on the schedule. Once we're happy with the schedule, we can go ahead and just change the status up here to be Draw Published. and that will now make our heat draw and schedule public on the LiveHeats public page. So as an athlete, I can now go into these divisions. I can see the heat draw. I can see what time the heats are on. I can also see the progression positions that are set up based on what we set in the heat draw editor. On your public organization page, you'll now see all your events, including the particular event that we just created. So you can circulate your link, liveheats.com/your organization name, and people can go ahead and view this particular heat draw and schedule. If you make any changes to your schedule, it will automatically reflect on the public page. So you might like to continuously remind your spectators and athletes to check their LiveHeats page for updates. If you wish to not display the schedule to the public, you can go into Event Settings, Advanced, and turn on Hide Scheduled Heat Times from Public. This will hide the schedule from the public, and you might like to run based on what the conditions are doing. This will give you that flexibility and prevent people from only coming down to the event right before their heat starts. So that's the heat draw schedule setup stages. In the next stage, what we're going to do is log into a judge device and start live judging. So when you start with LiveHeats, you'll receive an email that says welcome to LiveHeats. In that email, it will contain 6 judge logins that you can use for your competition. It's important to go ahead and save those credentials, print them out, put them somewhere safe that you can use during your competitions. To set up our judge devices, what we want to do is open up the 3 different phones or tablets that we're using and go to a new web browser window within those devices. I'm going to pretend on the right-hand side here that I'm logging in as a judge, but it's really just another window in my web browser. But you can imagine this on the right-hand side is like a tablet or a phone. What you're going to do is you're going to log in to the web browser on liveheats.com with the judge logins that were provided in your welcome email. You'll want to use unique logins for each judge device. So judge 1 for your first judge device, judge 2 for your second judge device, and judge 3 for your third judge device. If you're double banking, you'll want to use 3 judges on the first bank and the next 3 judges on the second bank. Once we've logged in as a judge, the device will land on a page that looks like this. Simply select the event that you're judging, and now that device is ready to set up. So in a real-life competition, we would repeat that process for our 3 different judge devices, and we're now ready to start the competition and start our live scoring. To start live scoring, you want to open up the head judge page on your main device, which could be a laptop, phone, or a tablet, and this will be the place where you'll start and finish all of the heats and have full control and viewership over the judges' scores as they come in. When we're ready, we can go ahead as the head judge or the director and start the heat by clicking the start button on the bottom right of the screen. That will activate the judge's scorecard, and it will also activate the head judge screen. Now the judges can start entering scores for the waves as they are ridden. So say Jimmy Hot Dog rides the first wave, the judges watch the wave, and then when they're ready to enter the score, they simply tap the plus icon and then enter their score. Once the score is entered, you'll see it appear on the head judges page, and that will show us the average at the top as well as the individual judges' scores beneath that. If the judge makes a mistake, they can always go in and edit their score, and that will update everywhere, including the head judge view and the public view. So the judges can continue putting in scores for the athletes. They will continue to appear here on the head judge view. And the head judge view will show the positions of the athletes as well as the score required, and it will highlight their top counting wave that goes to that score. So for example, if this athlete improves on their scoreline, you'll now see that 8.8 ride is highlighted in green. If there's an interference, all that has to happen is one of the judges has to click on the modifiers button on the top right, select the type of interference, and then apply it to the relevant ride. of the interfering surfer. What that'll do is it'll automatically zero out the ride that they interfered on, and it will also halve their second highest scoring ride, as you can see here. There's a few different interference options: priority interference, which will remove their second ride completely, or a normal interference if it's just a normal interference situation. The head judge has complete control over what the judges are entering. They can go in and make any changes, for example, removing an interference that was added by a judge, or editing a score that was added by a judge. The head judge can also enter scores on behalf of the judges. So if you're running a single device setup, you only need one device and they can be entering scores in on behalf of all of your different judges. Once you've reached the end of the heat, the next step is to end the heat, which will confirm the results and move the athletes who were successful through to the next round. Before we do that, I'll just click back on our public event page link so you can see what that would look like for the public. So here we can see the heat that's underway, all of the scores that have been entered so far, and the standings, as well as a countdown timer. We also have a whiteboard page. This is designed for TV screens, so you can set this up at your event site if you wish to have an overall high-level view of the live heats, upcoming heats, and then beneath that, completed heats. Commonly, you'll just use a HDMI cable to connect this screen. If you have any questions about using the whiteboard page, feel free to drop me an email. Awesome, so now we're happy with the final results. We're happy to end this heat and move to the next one. We can go ahead and click end. What that'll do in the background is it'll take the successful athletes who were successful enough to place first, second, third in this heat, and it'll move them into the next round as per the progression setup that we did before. If we made a mistake and we needed to actually undo ending the heat and change any scores, you can use the undo button, make any changes, and then click end again to re-progress and re-update the athletes. When you're ready to start your next heat, simply click start, and then the judges can begin scoring again. For judging, it's as simple as this. It's rinse, recycle, repeat. The judges enter the scores, the head judge ensures that the scores are aligned and the places and the result looks good, and then you end and you continue to move your way through all of the heats in your schedule. As you can see now, we have completed 2 heats in our schedule and we're up to the next one, which is the semi-final. We continue this process until you've run all of the heats in your schedule. The system will automatically advance everybody through for you, and meanwhile your spectators can be viewing all of this live on your LiveHeats public page. This is built for mobile, so feel free to get your spectators to go to liveheats.com, find the event and save it to their home screen on their mobile for an optimal mobile experience. Once we've finished all of the heats in our schedule, the system will automatically update the status of your event to complete. This now means that those results will be visible on our Series tab. The Series tab will give us the full breakdown of our rankings. So if I go to the division that was completed, we'll now see that our results from this uncompleted competition are now lodged in here. Because we didn't complete the comp, you can see there's a few equal places there, but in a real life competition, you'd have only 1 first, 1 second, etc. The shading means that this is not yet visible to the public because we just want to jump in here and make sure we're happy with the rankings. Once we're happy with the rankings and the points allocation, we can go into the event, set it to results published, and then now the rankings will be visible to the public and all of the athletes. To update them, simply share the public rankings link, and then they can go into the rankings and see where they stand. The points allocation that we provide is based on a standard club championship points allocation. We can edit this for you. Simply drop me an email, chris@liveheats.com, and I can help you out. Now that we've run a competition and we've published the results to the rankings, we're done. We're now ready to repeat the process and create our very next event. I'll leave the webinar there. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me, chris@liveheats.com, We're more than happy to help, and we're excited to see all of your events run on the LiveHeats platform.